Hey Russ, how you doing?
Hey, doing fabulous, Nick. Great to be here today with you.
Great to have you. We're really excited to have you on our interview. We're talking to some of the top agent attractors in EXP, and you are obviously one of them. So really excited to have you here.
Well, thank you for that. We have definitely caught fire in a short amount of time and are helping a lot of other people do the same. That's the best part of what I get to do every day.
Well, Russ, I know so much about you, but for the agents out there that live under a rock and don't know who you are, tell us a little bit about yourself. What's your background, how you got to where you are today?
Well, I'll give you the short version. Serial entrepreneur who came out of college with degrees in rhetoric and communication. Spent a lot of time in the political space, getting people elected all over the country, and really was a serial entrepreneur. So even while doing that, opening up company after company, got my real estate license in 1990 for my own stuff. And then all of the companies that I built worked around the real estate space, be it home inspection or construction or mold investigation and testing. And I got to know this company called Keller Williams and this program called Bold. And I took that class, even though I wasn't an agent, because I knew it wasn't a real estate class. It was a business and life success class. I continued to refine and work in that space until in 2013, I got the opportunity to join the Bold team and begin training, and was one of the top Bold coaches for Keller Williams International until a dear friend of mine, Don Hobbs, called me last July and said, Russ, it's fiscally irresponsible of you not to look at this model called EXP. And so I've been here a little over a year, just about 13 months now, having a blast.
That's awesome. Yeah, here at the end of 2021, wrapping up a year, like you just mentioned, at EXP. And so tell me, there's so many agents that are out there that are going to be watching this that want to know how people like you do it, right? That's always, what's the secret sauce? So if you could break that down, what have you been doing so far to attract agents to EXP?
So I'm gonna share with you, it's much like real estate. There's no secret sauce, magic bullet. Lots of people out there selling lots of things and programs. It's all about the conversations, having many conversations and having great conversations. So using those skills that I've learned in the past and I was trained on, we've created some incredible scripts, dialogues, conversational models that I've just been using and refining and having great success. As of today, over 80 people in the organization that I've helped personally bring in. And it's been amazing. So it just comes down having conversations and having good conversations. That's it.
Yeah. And so like you said, 80 in a year personally, right? So you're bringing people over in droves. And so, when you talk about conversations, and I love that, can you give us a specific conversation starter that you use currently to help you in these, to kind of break the ice?
Oh man, these are my nuggets, Nick. You're asking for the special sauce here.
The people want the good stuff.
Absolutely, they do. And one of my personal favorites, and again, I used to do Brent Gove's home inspections back when I lived in Northern California. Known him forever.
Who's that guy?
So in working and learning with Brent, that's where I got one of my favorite conversational starters. I'm dying to know, what have you heard about EXP Realty?
Wow.
That's it.
That's simple.
Yeah. Almost everyone you talk to really hasn't heard about it. They haven't heard much. They've seen the signs. They know agents that are there, yet they don't really know how special and unique this business model is in the real estate space. So it's a great conversation starter.
Russ, I love that. I want to break that down a little bit more because, I actually just did another webinar with another big influencer, and we talked about something very similar, which is that everyone has heard of EXP. They know the 3 letters and how to spell it, right? But how many agents have actually listened, right? How many have actually been fiscally responsible enough to break down the model? And I think that is an important conversation for anybody out there listening that's just getting started, right? Is that you yourself have to know it deeply first, right?
Absolutely, to a point. Most of the folks that I bring in with me, I don't want them to know it deeply first. I want them setting appointments with me because I know it deeply. The same way I got involved setting appointments with Don Hobbs and Allison Gaddy to help me get going. And so I want to go back though, because that question was set up that way for a key reason. Most agents are asking, have you heard about EXP? The old closed answer, yes or no question.
Sure.
All the questions, all the conversation starters that I have in my arsenal are open-ended. They're ways to get people into dialogue, to find out what they've learned, what they know, to find out where their pain points are, how we can help them. All great places you can go to connect with people and not recruit people.
Exactly. So you want to build connections. You want to get to know their business, and you want them to get to know this model. And so, kind of touching on that point, when you're talking in these conversations, how do you slowly move the conversation away so just from the model and start talking about their business and whether it suits what they are looking for? Because that's the other half of this conversation, is not just the model of EXP. Because I hear from a lot of agents all the time, well, I thought I explained it perfectly. I did all the right things. I put them on the call. Why isn't it working? And the other half of that is you have to identify the problems, right, in their business, or the needs rather, that agents have. And how do you kind of bring those two points together?
So it's absolutely a needs assessment. And let's make a quick break though, because the conversation starter, the initial conversation, is all about setting an extended appointment where you can take that deep dive. Way too many are trying to go conversation starter, let's deep dive right now, and you haven't had a time to build the relationship. So conversation starter, initial conversation is rather brief for the purpose of setting an appointment. And then at the appointment, which I love live face-to-face, and I will also do Zoom, is where I'm getting to know them and I'm jumping in right out of the gate talking about their business, how things are going. What do they love about real estate? What are they struggling with in real estate? And you will quickly get, even if they love their brokerage, I'm never changing, I love my brokerage, as you start to do a dive into what they don't like about real estate, you're going to discover things that are actually broker specific and not necessarily industry specific. And it's a great place where you can then open the conversation and bring it back to, then let's get into the models and then show them the models that actually addressed the challenge that they have.
I love it. I love it. I think this is such a unique perspective of attracting by offering to give conversation about just real estate. I feel that a lot of agents come to me and they said they're almost like afraid to talk real estate with other real estate agents and other brokerages, right? I mean, it's like, we're all in this industry together. Let's just talk real estate, right? Let's talk shop. Let's just talk, what are you experiencing? Here's what I'm experiencing. Oh, my last deal, this happened. Oh, can you believe this, right? It's those are the kinds of conversations that happen in the industry, and they're natural. And yet, when you get to real estate, it almost feels like there's always that motive, that purpose there. And sometimes you just need to talk, right?
It's the agents being in their own head with their own story about what's going on and what's possible or what somebody else is thinking. Know that I'm in a new market where I hardly know anybody. Don't know anybody in real estate. So great example, yesterday, I had a great coffee appointment, an hour and 15 minutes, where really 45 minutes of that conversation was us talking real estate, talking about her challenges, talking about the market a little bit, and then maybe 30 minutes on the models and setting the next appointment. And I would bet right now she's coming over. She gets it, she sees it, and she could see how the models, after we brought her challenges to the surface, we could see how the models fit those challenges. And it was a great hour and 15 spent live face-to-face with my laptop and a Brentgo video.
Yeah, and she leaves with a new perspective, right? And that's what it's all about. And I love that you just brought up the fact that you're in a new market, because, I was a brand new real estate agent, right? When I joined and I got into this whole thing about 4 years ago at this point. And I was in Charlotte, North Carolina. And quite honestly, I didn't know a lot of agents, right? Because how are you supposed to, right? It's not the expectation unless you come into this business knowing everybody, which of course, not everyone is blessed like that, right? Some of us are. But when you're new, you're in a new market, or maybe you're a new agent, really what you want to do is actually learn, right? Get that perspective, have those real conversations, And now I've just recently moved to San Diego, California. And one of my favorite things about moving here is that every agent, the conversation that I've met, every agent I've met so far, the conversation has gone exactly like this. Hey, I'm actually a real estate agent. I'm out there in North Carolina, planning to get licensed here. Tell me, like, what is it like out here? I have no idea, don't know the market. Teach me. I'd love to learn. Let's just talk real estate and just talk. And it's so much more natural, right, when you approach it from that perspective.
Yeah, and she knew going in it was going to be a conversation about EXP. And just as a side note, 3 years ago, her entire office had a presentation from the Alabama state broker on EXP. So she had seen the models, quote unquote. And because of a great initial conversation, including, I'm dying to know, what have you heard about EXP? Setting the appointment. And then the time we had together, she now gets it at a much deeper level.
Absolutely. I think everything you were saying here, obviously you're so well versed in this, you're a natural at it, and you've just done it and lived it and breathed it, right? And so, a little bit about you, Russ, that, again, agents that are watching this, this is what you do, right? And you help other EXP agents, other agents around the company do the same thing. So tell us a little bit about what you do for other agents in terms of coaching, or what you offer, and what you can help other agents do when it comes to agent attraction.
Absolutely. I do have a coaching program specifically for agent attraction. I have numerous clients from about agent 450-ish on up in this company paying me as their coach to coach them and train them on how to do this correctly, to really build that front line with quality. That's one of the other things too. People talk all the time about how many bodies they have. Well, how much revenue is that really generating?
Sure.
So just know the bodies in my organization last pay period were about $100 a person on average. Well above, quote, the company norm, because we're doing two things. We're having conversations with people who are producers, or we're having conversations with people who are willing to learn to be producers and actually do the work. And those are the people I want on my team, because I can coach them, train them, teach them. So back to the coaching on this, we are doing the standard coaching model of 30 minutes every week, combined with another 9 hours a week of actual workshop. We do 3 hours on Monday, 3 hours on Wednesday, 3 hours on Friday of active workshop having these conversations. How different would your agent attraction be if you had blocked 20 to 25% of your, quote, work time, and you focused diligently on this new piece of your business? We'll teach you how to do it, when to do it, what to say, and then we will actually work with you in those workshops, making sure you're doing it right. How powerful is the stuff we're teaching? I got a little side note, Nick. It's a blast, because we have people probably that have never done this before. So 3 Fridays ago, I had a brand new agent that joined a buddy's team that's in my group show up for the call. I emailed her the script that she was to use right then and there at the beginning of the 3-hour block. And on and off for 3 hours, because it's a workshop, she literally just read the script to people. She didn't have it internalized. She didn't know it. Take a guess how many appointments she scheduled.
10.
You've guessed one of the highest numbers, which is awesome. She actually got 14.
14. Wow.
14 agent attraction set appointments for her and her leader to go on in that 1 3-hour block of time. She scheduled those. Now, that is an anomaly. I personally have never done that. And yet at the same time, she just followed the model, didn't think she was any smarter, and just leveraged it. And we've heard that time and time again in the agent attraction education we've had from Jay Kinder, Brent Gove, Gene Frederick, all the big heavy hitters talk about follow the model. And that really is all we're teaching here and coaching you to do, is follow a number of systems and models that we know work.
I love it. I love it, because you are, like you said, following the proven model, what's worked for others, what works for you. And so speaking on that, in terms of having a system and a process, You can have all the right strategies, all the right coaching in the world. You don't follow a system and then plug into the right tools that ultimately are going to help you on the back end, right? Because you mentioned something. You mentioned that email you sent, right? And I was basically saying, if you don't plug in the right tools to have that in place, then it's all for nothing, right? Ultimately, you also need to close. You want to bring them over and have a process and a system for all that. So if you could talk a little bit about what you've been doing recently on Attractzen, which is the software that we have built as a company with our partners, and we worked with you on to build the system, not just from knowing what to say and when to say it, but also how to plug into a proven system that's going to help you convert so that you can keep running your business.
Well, knowing what to say and when to say it creates all this follow-up and chaos that I was managing okay on some other CRM tools that I got plugged in with. And yet they weren't getting me exactly where I always want to go on getting my time back and really being well organized and structured. I mean, I would miss a follow-up once in a while. I could even miss an appointment once in a while on the tools I was using. And now on Attractzen, there are so many elements of automation that are making it better. From managing my task and putting all those follow-ups in, having all the notes on every person. So when I call them again, I can look back at the notes from previous and I have a reason to call and a topic to talk about. Rather than it just being about, you ready to come to EXP? We want to connect first. The notes are right there to help me. Automating all my communication around every single appointment. Massive difference now in my sign up for an appointment rate to my show up rate. In fact, I haven't had a single live appointment no show since I've been on Attractzen because of all the automation I have to confirm and remind through multiple channels. And now I've just started in playing with the drip campaigns. I'm an early adopter to the platform. I was one of the first, yet I want to make sure I've got each nugget figured out. So today is the first day I've started dropping email. And again, coaching, not come to EXP. There's nothing about EXP in the email. It's about, here's something I saw that I know is powerful and can help you in your business. Watch it and let me know what you think.
I love it. And so you talk about those automations that gives you the peace of mind to know, like you said, that when someone signs up, they're going to show up. That when you have the call, you can have that follow-up ready to fire and ready to go, that you don't have to think about what to say or when to send it. It's all just about following the system. And again, those are those tools. That's the piece, the element that even some of the best agent attractors are still missing, right? You can run, to the end of the world and back, and you can run in circles on this wheel. But once you get lost in that follow-up, then it really depreciates your efficiency, right? And so why we've built Attractzen as a company, all of our partners here at Attractzen are EXP agents. It's built by EXP agents for EXP agents. And we've built this platform, not just as a CRM, not just as your follow-up, but from the lead generation to the nurture to the conversion. It's the entire journey that brings agents peace of mind when they are attracting other agents, because it allows them to plug into a system that was tailor-made for this. And so, Russ, when you talk about your coaching and then you talk about the Attractzen piece and how you are coaching, not just on the strategy, but also on the implementation of a tool like Attractzen, becomes a beautiful marriage of those two sides. So for anybody that's out there watching and wants to plug into Russ's coaching, wants to plug into Attractzen, you can find it on attractzen.com. That is where it's at. That is where agents across the company, across the country, across the world now are plugging into these systems. And many agents, of course, are jumping onto Russ's program, because I know, Russ, you're telling your agents, jump on this. If you want to follow, you got to follow. You got to go all in, right? Got to buy all in.
You got to go all in, and you have to do the work. And that's why that 9 hours a week we have blocked out. You may not be able to jump on it immediately, yet as you clear your schedule over time, you can start making those commitments. So the great news to find me, you see the spelling on the screen of the last name. Well, I would say I'm the only one in the workplace on that. Actually, my wife works in accounting, so you'll see two of us. And yet worldwide, we're a small group. You usually can track me down just by Googling the last name. So if there's anything you have questions on, anything you want help with, feel free to reach out to me, follow me on Workplace, and let's enter into a conversation, see what we can do to help you out.
Absolutely. So I'm just going to do a quick recap. Again, Russ Colliau, thank you so much for joining us here. So again, Russ is telling us, break the ice. He gave us some great ways to break the ice and when to do so. I'd love to know how much. I'm so excited to know how much you know about EXP. What have you heard, right? So break that ice. Learn when to make that transition over into the conversation of their business and yours. Talk real estate. Get to really know what are the pain points, identify those things, and then ultimately plug into the right tools and systems for follow-up and automation like we have here at Attractzen, and follow that same strategy and system and process that people like Russ are doing. So connect, guys, connect with Russ. Go to attractzen.com if you want to plug into that system as well. And of course, if you want to do both, talk to Russ, talk to us, and you can have the exact same results. Because you know what, Russ, man, you get, like you said, I say you can have the exact same results. The important word, like I said, is can. You got to put in the work. You got to go out and do it. You got to go out and get it. But I'm confident, just as you are, that when agents plug in and do it, it's hard not to see them.
Yeah, that if you do the work, the results show up. And it's kind of the same way in everything, be it real estate, be it agent attraction, be it your marriage. Yeah, you do the work, the results show up.
That's awesome stuff. Russ, thank you again for being here. And again, this has been an interview with one of the top agent attractors at EXP, Russ Colliau. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Look forward to seeing you again soon, Nick.
Take care.